BJP gets a battle ready. Prime Minister Modi chairs the last Council of Ministers meeting ahead of the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Aam Aadmi Party attacks the BJP over Bansuri Swaraj's candidature, says she stood against women of Manipur. Fact-finding team in Sandeshkhali meets victims, alleges Mamata's cops favouring Shah Jahan Sheikh. Spanish tourist recounts harrowing gang rape by 7 in Jharkhand's Dumka, 3 arrested so far. Bengaluru explosion probe gathers pace, 5 investigation teams formed meeting of senior officers today. Shehbaz Sharif becomes the Prime Minister of Pakistan for a second time to lead a coalition government. Starting the biggest story tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with regards to what really happened in Jharkhand. We get you this story that has been very conveniently brushed under the carpet. A Spanish couple embarked upon an ambitious plan to travel the world on motorcycles. 63 countries, 170,000 kilometers later, their journey was horribly interrupted in the quiet corners of Jharkhand's Dumka. Now, the horrifying incident has shaken the entire country as this Spanish tourist was allegedly gang raped and her husband brutally assaulted by 7 youth in Dumka district late on Friday night. The police have arrested 3 men allegedly involved in the crime. But the action is too little, too late. Meanwhile, a manhunt is now underway to apprehend the remaining accused. In response to the severity of the incident, a special investigation team has been constituted to ensure an inquiry. But the question that we are still asking, that if 7 accused were involved, why is it that 24 hours later, only 3 arrests have been made? What message are we really sending across at a time when we have been saying that our country is safe for women? Take a look for this report for more details, and then we also get you the details of the investigation that has been carried out so far.
It's been over 24 hours since the horrific incident involving the gang rape of a Spanish woman in Jharkhand came to light. Amid severe backlash over the state of law and order in Jharkhand, the National Commission for Women has stepped in and taken cognizance of the crime. Commission member Mamata Kumari met the foreign couple on Saturday night to address their grievances. Kumari recounted the gruesome incident as it was narrated by the victims.
Victim जिला गेस्ट हाउस में ठहरी हुई हैं और उनसे मिलने के बाद उनके चेहरे पर पूरा खरोच है. उसके बाद उनके हस्बैंड का भी चेहरे पे खरोच है, हेलमेट से मारा गया है. जब मैं बताई तो उन्होंने बताया कि 7 लोग थे और 7 बजे से 10:30 बजे तक के बीच में ये घटनाएं हैं.
Speaking to the media, Kumari slammed the police administration for gross negligence in maintaining vigilance.
पुलिस प्रशासन इनकी सुरक्षा क्यों नहीं किया? अब ये महिला विदेश से आई हुई हैं, अपने कपल के साथ भ्रमण में निकली हैं, इनको कितने देश को जाना है, तो ये दुमका होके गई हैं, तो यहाँ का विजिलेंस क्या कर रहा है, यहाँ के प्रशासन क्या कर रहे हैं, यहाँ की सरकार क्या कर रही है? हमारी महिलाओं के लिए सरकार संवेदनहीन है. सरकार के पास महिलाओं का कोई स्थान नहीं है, इसलिए ऐसी घटनाएं दुमका में आए दिन, दुमका ही नहीं, अभी आप देखेंगे मचखार में, गोड्डा जिला में भी ऐसी घटनाएं कल को हुई है. नित्य दिन घटनाएं होती है.
She also asserted that unless the guardians of law understand their responsibility, such incidents could not be curbed.
कानून के रखवाले जब तक नहीं समझेंगे कि हमारा रोल क्या है, क्या करना चाहिए. इतनी सारी विभाग हैं इनके लिए कि इसको देखे कहाँ रुके हैं, क्या किए हैं. आखिर पेट्रोलिंग व्यवस्था हजदिया की जो हालत है ना, वो आए दिन रोज की घटना है। अगर साल में देखेंगे तो हर एक वीक में एक घटना होती है। इसका मतलब क्या है कि प्रशासन लचर है, सरकार लचर है, सरकार को महिलाओं के लिए संवेदना नहीं है।
NCW Chief Rekha Sharma has spoken to the victims. The commission has extended their complete support in this fight for justice.
आयोग इसमें संज्ञान लेगी और आयोग आगे हल करेगी। इसमें चेयरमैन हमारी, उन्होंने भी विक्टिम से बात की है और आगे के लिए हम लोगों ने जो मुहैया कराना चाहिए वो कराया है और आगे इसको हम लोग देखेंगे, आगे ले जाएंगे।
The 3 arrested individuals who confessed to their crime were brought to Dumka court earlier today. Police have identified the 4 other accused involved in the crime and are on the hunt for the absconders. Meanwhile, the call for justice is only growing louder and louder. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
We also spoke to the Superintendent of Police of Dumka, who said that all is well and the probe is underway to nab more accused. But again, this raises extremely uncomfortable questions about the law and order situation of the state. And how exactly can the Superintendent of Police in Dumka say all is well when most of the accused are still on the run? What message are we essentially trying to send across when you have influencers to several tourists coming to this country? The message that has been sent across, whether at all this country is safe for women or not, and the inaction on the part of the police is something that many are still questioning. Listen in to what the Superintendent of Police of Dumka had to say.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, good evening, sir. Sir, Akil this side from Republic TV, sir. How are you, sir?
ठीक है, उस समय आपका कॉल नहीं ले पाए, कोर्ट में थे।
Acha, no worries, sir. Can certainly understand, sir. Sir, there is a small request, sir. Basically, I wanted to know from you, how many arrests have been made so far in connection with the case, sir?
तीन लोग अरेस्ट हुए।
Acha, what they presented before the judicial magistrate?
अभी जुडिशियल में 164 का स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड करा रहे हैं।
Okay, sir. And what's the preliminary investigation have suggested so far, sir?
जो है सेक्शन केस किया गया है उस पर।
Right, sir.
हाँ।
And what
लॉन्च किया गया है और साइंटिफिकली जो है एविडेंस कलेक्ट किया गया है। FSL की टीम रांची से आके CID के द्वारा सारा लोकेशन कैसे
right. And what has
एसेस किया गया है।
what has come out in the FSL report, sir?
वो रिपोर्ट तो अभी नहीं मिलेगा ना। रिपोर्ट उसको एग्जामिन होगा वहाँ पर FSL में।
Right, right. And apart from a special branch and CID teams, which all agencies are involved in this investigation, right?
हाँ, सभी इन्वॉल्व हैं और कोऑपरेट एक दूसरे का कर रहे हैं, किसी का लोग स्टेटमेंट रिकॉर्ड और बाकी चीज जो है एविडेंस कलेक्शन और उसका पुलिस पेपर और डायरी उसको कैसे अच्छा से स्ट्रॉन्ग बनाया जाएगा ताकि वो लोग को कन्विक्शन हो स्पीडी ट्रायल में, कड़ी से कड़ी सजा मिले। इसके लिए सारा टीम मिलकर काम कर रहे हैं।
Right. Pitambar ji, you are SP of Dumka, right? Don't you think this incident raises big question mark on law and order situation in Dumka?
नहीं, लॉ एंड ऑर्डर का सिचुएशन उस तरह का नहीं है। सडनली एक घटना थी।
Right.
इस तरह की घटना नहीं है।
Right.
क्योंकि फॉरेनर्स आते हैं तो SOP के अनुसार वो लोग डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को हमारे फॉरेन सेक्शन में वो लोग एप्लीकेशन देते हैं कि हम लोग यहाँ इतना दिन स्टे करेंगे, क्योंकि इनका मूवमेंट का कुछ पता नहीं था प्लान।
राइट।
जिसके चलते जो भी पास आते हैं उनका सिक्योरिटी प्रॉपर किया जाता है।
राइट सर।
और ये अचानक हुआ घटना है।
राइट।
On This Is Exclusive tonight, we focus on the big India's chip mission. What does that really mean in terms of the investment that has been given by the government? Joining us on this special broadcast is Union Minister Ashwini Vaishnav. Sir, thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Let me straight away begin by asking you, successive governments have tried this in the past. We've seen that somewhere down the line, it hasn't really worked out. To begin with, how has it been different than what it was in the past in terms of the challenges? We'll come to it a little later, but what has really worked this time?
You're absolutely right. India's semiconductor quest started way back in 1962. Attempts were made in 1970, in 80, 84, in 2007, 2011. Many times attempts were made, but the clarity of vision, the clarity of thought that our Prime Minister has, that kind of clarity was missing earlier. And commitment to developing a high-tech technology, high-tech industry like this, and the focus on Make in India, all these things combined have really made a big difference this time. Now we have 4 good large units which will basically set the entire foundation. We have focused on getting the ecosystem in, because fab is very, very complex. Close to 16,000 different types of things go in getting a chip done. So it's really complex. So this kind of complexity required a level of consistency, clarity, transparency and commitment, which is what was possible because of Prime Minister's very big focus on semiconductors.
For the common man who's watching this, a semiconductor becomes important from the word go, be it at home, the toaster that works in our home, to the refrigerator, to everything. Why is it that the Prime Minister has always been saying that while the global market, if you really look at it, 80% of it has been dominated by South Korea, China and the other countries too. Where does India really see itself? Can we actually position ourselves in a manner that we can compete, or you think this is a long drawn process and the dividends of it can only come at a later stage?
We definitely can compete, because if you look at the value chain, design is the first part of it. Fabrication is the second part. ATMP is the third part. I'll explain how it works. Design is mostly done on computers. There are very complex tools which are used. After that, the circuit has to be put on a wafer. It has to be fabricated on a wafer. This is a wafer. On this wafer, more than 5,000 chips are there. They are fabricated on this. It's very, very complex process. If you take the tip of your nail, 1 lakh times finer, smaller than this is the magnitude with which the chips are fabricated on the wafer. Once you fabricate it, it has to be taken out, which is again minuscule, you cannot see it with your eyes. Then it has to be ATMP'd. So when you do ATMP, the chips are basically put inside this entire thing and wiring is done. So for example, a complex chip can have wiring of 100 kilometers. 100 kilometers. Even the simplest of simple chips will have few kilometers of wiring in it. Then there is air conditioning, cooling in it. Lots of complexity. It's like having a 10-story building which will have a lift going up and down, which will have plumbing, which will have electricity. There will be some houses which are 3 BHK flats. There are some flats which are 4 BHK, 2 BHK. There will be some parking section. So that entire, just like a large complex of building, similarly a chip can be very, very complex inside. Then this chip is done as a part of the ATMP process. Then it goes into a circuit, and a circuit is what practically goes into every device. So practically every device that is either switched on or switched off, whether it's your refrigerator, your TV, your toaster, your scooty, your car, your train, metro, aeroplane, the mic that you're holding, the watch that you wear, everything has semiconductors in it. From missiles to trains, and from aeroplanes to refrigerators. Everything has semiconductor. It's very important to get this foundational industry in our country. Like steel, like chemicals. If you have steel industry, you can have many more downstream industries. Right. If you have chemical industry, you can have many more downstream industries, right? Same is the case with semiconductors. Once you have semiconductor industry, module manufacturers will come to India, laptop manufacturers will come to India, your automobile manufacturing gets a quantum jump, mobile manufacturing gets a boost. So all these industries, entire manufacturing space today requires semiconductors. That's why this focus on getting the semiconductor industry into India.
Talking about the incentives also that the government had announced back in December 2021, that announcement was actually made. Is it also keeping in mind the kind of incentives that our allies, for example, in EU, the United States of America, that entire argument that are their incentives more attractive in nature, which brings in several other companies? I'm not getting into specifics of any company at this point in time. What really happens in terms of the investment plan or the incentive plan in the days to come? Will that be a major focus area also?
Globally, the industry is today seen as a strategic industry, and only a handful of countries actually have this industry. So a lot of emphasis is being given by governments across the world. I wouldn't take any names, but there are countries which are investing 150 billion US. There are countries which are investing even $280 billion. That is the kind of investment that many of these large tech-focused countries are making. So it's very important for us to make sure that the foundation is laid, so that we can, from this foundation, we can build upon a very huge ecosystem. The advantages that we have is large talent pool. Close to 1/3 of the semiconductor talent pool is in India. Every large company that you see, semiconductor company, will have practically majority of their technical personnel from India, Indian origin, maybe other country citizenship, but that's the kind of talent we have. With stable policy, with big focus on manufacturing, and with the incentives, the industry has come to India, and in the coming 5 years, we will see the next level where we'll see many more fabrication units, many more fabs, many more ATMP units, but we'll also see full chip sets being designed and manufactured in India.
I also want to ask you this, Minister Vaishnav, perhaps it's a personal interest also because we come from that very place. The Prime Minister time and again has spoken about Act East in the sense that northeastern states should be brought into the development aspect arena. This is yet another industry where you're bringing in the northeast into the focus. Can you tell us how it really impacts the northeastern states, particularly, especially with the kind of announcements that have been made?
Our Prime Minister is very focused on development of Northeast. Highway connectivity, railway connectivity, optical fiber connectivity, electrical power supply connectivity, everything he has put focus. He has visited Northeast more than 50 times in his 10 years. No other Prime Minister would have ever done this kind of visits to Northeast. And today, such a high-tech industry, like semiconductor industry, Prime Minister has approved the proposal of Tata Electronics to set up the semiconductor unit in Assam, and this will become a major boost. It's a 27,000 crore investment. This will create large number of downstream industries. We can very clearly see electronics manufacturing going into Northeast in the coming years. So there is very big focus on getting the high-tech industries to Northeast because this is where the future is.
So how do you see that really panning out, particularly in the states like Assam? Do you see that would it be spreading to the other northeastern states, or right now the focus would essentially be keeping in mind the logistical aspect, the infrastructure development that has already taken place in the state of Assam? Does it spill over to the other states also?
I can clearly see it will benefit the entire Northeast.
Minister, let me also take one more question with regards to the talent pool that you made a mention. Earlier, most of our talent pool, particularly when it comes to the semiconductor industry, had to move out because the opportunities were less. R&D becomes another big challenge because we did not have that facilities were not available in the past. So how does that really change? Is that also a focus area right now?
Absolutely. We have tied up with 104 universities, and we have taken most expensive and complex tools and made available to the startups and incubators and the students and academia, made those complex and expensive tools available to them as a part of this exercise. So 104 universities are today getting opportunities to design, to learn, to do research and come up with new types of solutions. New ideas can be tested. So the focus, getting all the three parts of the value chain, design, fab, ATMP. making sure that the talent pool gets further developed, making sure that the entire ecosystem comes to India. This becomes the full semiconductor industry, and then comes the downstream industry. Downstream is all your electronics manufacturing, automobile manufacturing, everything. And the upstream is hundreds and hundreds of chemicals and gases. So this is the complete picture. So with this part coming in, the upstream will develop and the downstream will develop.
One final question, Minister Vaishnav, in terms of the target, where do you see this? What is your target that you're really looking at? We have already seen about the investment nod that has been given in the years to come, particularly the next 5 years that the Prime Minister has been talking about. Where do you see, what would be the achievable target in this industry itself?
We can very clearly see that in the next 5 years, we will have many more fabs. Look at the entire scenario. 10 years back, people would question why should they go to India. Now, people are saying, how soon do we get to India? In the coming years, people will they say, oh my God, we should not miss this opportunity. That's the way things are moving. There's a clear change in the global mindset because of clear policies that our Prime Minister has laid and executed them. These are sapne nahi, hakikat bunte hain. These are real executed programs. We have seen the case of mobile phone. 98% of the mobile phones were imported 10 years back. Today, 99% of the mobile phones that we use are made in India. We have become major exporter of mobile phones. Same is the case very soon we'll see in case of servers and laptops. Manufacturing has already started. We are seeing that in defense. We are already among the top 25 exporters of defense products. We are seeing in sector after sector, we are seeing manufacturing is becoming a major part of our growth story. So with that in place, semiconductor will feed into entire manufacturing sector. We'll see many more semiconductor units coming to India. We'll also see downstream and upstream, and we will also see many chipsets fully designed in India, made in India, used in the country and exported to the world.
Well, thank you very much, Minister Vaishnav, for joining us on this special broadcast of This Is Exclusive, where the Minister also outlines what is it that we are expecting in the years to come. As the Prime Minister has been indicating, this is a dream for Viksit Bharat.